Hi guys, good afternoon. Sorry about that. Sorry I'm late. Sorry about what happened in chat just now. My desk is covered in props. Today we are going to be talking about top 10 ways to set up a kitchen on budget. Now what we're actually... Woo! There we go. All right, so what we're going to be looking at is setting up the things that you need. Okay? We're looking at setting up the things that you need when you're first setting up a kitchen. We're not going to be looking at all the other things and stuff like that. We're going to be talking about the absolute basics of what you need. Now, there are millions and trillions of articles out there that will give you what they say you need to have. And there are loads and loads of products out there and basic starter kits for kitchens and stuff like that. And I'm going to talk to you today about why it's probably better if you don't get those. And it's better that you go and do some shopping for yourselves, have a look around, and you might actually save yourself some money getting the absolute basics of what you need, being the things that you want rather than the things that you don't want. Okay? So, let me just see if I can get rid of that. Doof, 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 doof. I don't think I can remove that. Yeah, there we go. Right. Okay. That was just because my knife sharpener landed on the 0 on the keyboard. So we don't need to keep that in chat right now. Right. So, number one, when you're looking to set up your kitchen, you need to look at the basics of what you yourself are going to cook, not what anybody else is coming into your kitchen to do, but what you are going to do. Okay, so if you're not the kind of person who's going to use a lot of machinery or do a lot of cooking and stuff like that, what you want to have is a simple one pan, one fry pan. In fact, just a fry pan, if it comes down to it, one that's quite a deep one, that has a nice deep edge to it, because then you can steam off some veg in it as well. Bespoke your kitchen. Absolutely. Hi JT, how you doing, darling? You need to do it for what's right for you. So you start off with a fry pan. Now, I will say, do not buy the cheap fry pans that have that painted coating on them to make them non-stick. Okay, that coating comes off in about 2 washes. Absolutely useless. All it does is it's just useless. And then because of the metal that's used underneath is undergrade quality, it's going to rust, it's going to become useless, and you're going to have to replace it a lot faster than you intended. Yes, Kitty is awesome. So I would suggest to you to get yourself, I'm moving out the way so you can see Kitty. Okay, so I would suggest to you, buy yourself a decent fry pan. Okay, you can get some semi-decent ones from the supermarkets in the special sections. Like over here in the UK, you've got a homeware section of the supermarkets. You can get a nice steel one or one like that, or you go on to companies that do catering equipment. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. It's been a bit of a morning. And my meds have only just really kicked in. I've actually ordered myself a Greek coffee this morning, or this afternoon rather, because I really needed it. Oh, wow. Okay. So what I will say to you is this. If you are living within the UK, have a look for a company called Nisbets. 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 Okay, yum bean juice. Yes, magical pixie bean juice. Right, so Nisbets are where all the catering companies go to pretty much for all the stuff that they need. You will find a fry pan in there that will be perfect for your needs for less than it'll cost for a shitty one in the supermarkets that's just got one of those spray on non-stick coating things on it. Okay, so And all you have to do on that to make it non-stick is to heat it up before you use it. They can also be used over a campfire. They can be used on electric. They can be used on induction. They can be used over gas. They can be used any way you want. Okay? They're great. And because they're made for commercial use, they're made to be hammered. So I would guess when I was working that we would have gone through pans like that. We had about 30 of them, and they were literally use, throw in the wash, and they'd come back to us. And we probably go through that cycle about 5 or 6 times in the service. So I would suggest that if you're looking for one to use one for home use, that's going to last you forever, because they lasted us 5 to 10 years. So I wouldn't worry about it. And you're not going to care if it gets a ding in it, because it's going to work. It's still going to do its job. So I would go to places like that. If you were going to get yourself a saucepan or a pot rather than just a fry pan, I would again look for the steel ones. I wouldn't look for non-stick. I wouldn't look for anything fancy. Just get yourself a silver aluminium stainless steel pot. Okay, pick them up in charity shops. You can pick them up at the catering shop when you go to get your fry pan. You know, you can go anywhere you want to go and pick these things up, and you can get them at a reasonable price. I would suggest, however, don't get the ones with the glass tops. Some glass tops are better than others. Some of them will crack. Some of them can shatter. So be really, really careful about that. And if you're not going to be using your lids, just have a steel one. It's not a big deal. Okay, just have one that's got the matching metal lid to go with the pot rather than the glass ones. Perfect world, I would be able to care for a carbon pan. I understand that, love. I totally get that. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to have a gazillion and one things. And to be honest, if you don't have the money for, you want a pan and a pot, but you have to choose between the two, I would go and get yourself a wok and go to the Asian grocery stores and pick up a wok, because you will find a really, really good wok that is used in homes and restaurants around the country and around the world on a regular basis in those places for really reasonable prices. They will be stainless steel ones. You will have to season it. Or there will be steel ones rather, and you will have to season it. And there are millions of videos out there on how to season a wok before use. Now you can boil in it, you can fry in it, you can do your bacon in it. If you really wanted to, you could do your pancakes in it. Not going to lie, you can do your omelettes in it. You can do your stir fries in it. You can even roast meat in it. So, you know, there's nothing that you can't do in a wok. All right, because they're brilliant at the end of the day. They really, really are. So if you were just looking for something that was a crossover between, until you can get the money together to get the other two, go and get yourself a wok, because honestly, it's worthwhile. Right, so but don't ever, ever, ever believe that you have to have a gazillion and one pots and pans in your kitchen to start off. It's not necessary. Hi, Anne. How are you, darling? Listening and working away. Want to say hello and hit that like button. Oh, Anne, you are so thank you so much, darling. It's very sweet of you. Very, very sweet of you. Oh, far out. It's been a day. The second thing we're going to look at is utensils. Okay. Now the utensils, this is where people come a little bit unstuck, because they see these starter kitchen kits that are just thrown together with a lot of very cheap stuff in them, and a lot of it has the plastic ended utensils in it. And you don't want the plastic ended utensils. I know they do for non-stick pans, but they melt. They're not heat resistant. They're absolutely utterly useless, even in a non-stick pan. Okay, they don't bother. Go get yourself some wooden ones. Go get yourself some wooden ones or some bamboo ones. You can get a set of bamboo ones. They've got 5 different things in it. They've got probably 2 of these, 3 of those, or 2 of these and a wooden fork or something like that, or one that's got a spoon with slots in it. You know, for £1, £2, it's wooden. At the end of the day, you can recycle it. You can reuse it. You can probably use it as something in your garden if you needed to, you know, but you're not going to get angry about it because it's not going to melt on you. It might set light to it occasionally if you have it too close to bare flame. You know who I'm talking to, and I know you're going to be watching this later, so I'm just saying, you know, but these are much, much better than the horrible plastic ones that they put in those kits. Just don't bother. Right. However, one thing I will tell you to get is a good spatula. This is silicone. It is heat tolerant to 220 degrees Celsius. And you can use it in your saucepans as a stirrer or a scraper in your fry pans or whatever. You can use it on the top of the stove. You can use it with your cakes and all of that kind of mixing stuff and all of that kind of thing. There are a million things you can do. You can even use it to butter your bread. And if you've got several sandwiches to do, you just load up the spatula and just go push, 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 and you're done, right? So it's you want to get things that are going to do you some good and you can have more than one use out of, okay? And one of these is a really, really good idea. Yeah, deglazing is brilliant. Deglazing the pans with these is brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant idea. As you need to watch it though, because these ones, the one that I have, if you can see there, I've had it sitting on the pan a little bit too long and it has melted the handle. Now, these ones are cheap ones, but we've had them for quite some time because I bought them when they were on offer and they were like 50p each, when they were normally about £3 each. So look for bargains. Look for bargains. Always look for bargains. Yeah, and buy them when you can. So that's our little spatulator. Okay, so everyone's like, you need a masher, you need a stirrer, you need a this, you need a that, you need a spiral whisk, you need a this whisk or that whisk. No, you need one of these. That's it. This is all, okay? Now, you can get ones of these, and I would only get the ones that have got a solid handle. Hey, hi, Farm, how are you? I wouldn't get the ones that have got the wire handles because they're utterly useless and fall apart in your hands. These ones, I don't know if you can see down there, but you can actually see that they're actually, the strings are put through individually, and that part inside there, that disc, is actually attached inside the handle. So it's not going to come adrift. The other thing with this one is that it does have that little knobbly bit there at the top. Now, that knobbly bit there at the top is to get into the corners of your pans. You know, where it's sort of, your saucepan goes like that. Well, that little knobbly bit gets in that corner. So you can stir around and whisk your sauces and stuff right up into the corners, which is absolutely awesome. But yeah, I would get one that looks like that. I wouldn't get one that's got the wire handle. They're cheap. You know, these are pretty cheap and cheerful, and a good one will last you a lot longer than 3 or 4 of the cheap ones. So, you know, when it does come to your kitchen utensils, sometimes paying a little bit more is going to last you longer in the long run, especially when it comes to things like this. These you can pick up anywhere. Supermarkets, department stores, catering shops, everywhere. Okay, just find one that's the cheapest for you. Have a look in your local secondhand shops as well. Also, look at places like Facebook Marketplace and FreeCycle. People are giving away stuff when they move all the time, and it's always going to be a lot cheaper than buying it brand new. Yeah, sure, okay. it might be secondhand and it's something that's been in their kitchen. If you're that worried about it, wash them. Wash them. It's not hard, you know, just wash them before you use them. You should be washing everything that you bring home that's going in, you know, into your kitchen anyway before you use it. You don't just buy a saucepan and rip the label off and start cooking with it. You have to wash it first because you don't know what's been in it. You don't know who's picked it up. You don't know who's coughed on it, sneezed on it, how long it's been sitting in the warehouse for, and what rats run across it. You know, you wash them first. Same thing as if you buy it secondhand. Wash them first. Okay. Now, we're going to get down to knives and things, but before we do that, I'm going to show you this. Now, this is a knife sharpener. Okay. Now, this basically helps the blade on the knives. I'm going to do a full video at some point on knives, but I'm just going to show you some very, very basic things right now. You need to have one of these if you have knives in your kitchen. Now, I would not suggest that any other serrated knives you have in your kitchen other than something like a bread knife. Okay, that's the only serrated one I have in my house. Yeah, it's a honing steel. Thank you. Thank you, JT. My brain is not functioning right now. It's not. I'm doing my best. Okay, it's a honing steel. Now, when you put your blades, and you can't use it for serrated knives either. You can only use it for flat blades. All right. When you put these in the wash, okay, and you wash them, and please only hand wash them. Do not put them in the dishwasher, because if you put them in and the heat gets over 80 degrees Celsius in there, you will destroy your blades. Okay, so, you know, only ever wash your hands by hand. Now, over time, that what happens is in a knife, it's made up of lots of tiny threads. And when it's sharp, all those threads are nice and all like that. And they're all together and they look like that. Well, the longer you use them for, they start to split apart. And they do that kind of thing. Now, a honing steel will bring them back together like that. Okay, but every now and again, they kind of get a little bit too much and they get a bit mangled and a bit choppy up and down the blade. And that's when you need to get yourself a sharpening stone. But a honing steel is enough for most people. And that's all you do, right? To use one, it's very simple. I'm going to show you very slowly because I only use mine slowly. I don't do this whole flip thing because that is just like terrifying. Now, if you have a look at your knife, okay, and have a look down there, you will see that it's tipped a slightly different angle on the blade than it is down the rest of the knife. Now, what you want to do when you first set up is you want to figure out where that is and then just slide your knife down very carefully like that. You don't have to do it fast. There's no need for doing it fast. And you do that on the other way. Hey, Bernie. Yay. Good morning, listening while getting ready for work. Awesome. So it's very, very basic. And you don't have to do it fast. Don't do it fast. Just take your hand off. That's just people showing off. Okay. So if you are going to have knives, have one of these. There's only 2 other knives that are absolutely desperate for you to have straight away. And to be honest, both of them are unnecessary if you have a really good chef's knife. Now, these, get yourself one that's a full blade and handle if you can. But always remember, this heats up. So keep it away from the heat. Shouldn't be on the heat. Your knife shouldn't be on the heat anyway. Okay, just keep them on the board and you'll be fine. But it does mean that, say, for example, with this chef's knife, you've got a handle with screws on it. If any of those snap, then you've pretty much lost your knife unless you're going to make another handle for it. So you don't want to have that. And then you've got the issues with things like these knives that have got rubberized handles and they tend to chip away after a while. So, you know, it's always my preference, my personal preference is just one that's all in one. Okay. Now you can pick them up relatively cheaply again. And cheap ones of these don't matter if it's a full metal handle to blade. Okay. Because you can hone the blade yourself and sharpen it so that it'll work really, really well. All right. Now, really, the only knife that you're going to need, absolutely, when you first set up your kitchen is the chef's knife, because it's good for everything. It's good for the small jobs, good for the big jobs. Just keep it sharp. If you let it get blunt and you get cut by it, you're more likely to lose a finger than you are if it's sharp. Because if it's blunt, it will chunk its way through your finger. If it's sharp, it will slice, yes, but it will be able to be sealed very, very easily. Okay, rather than ripping and tearing at your hand or your finger or whatever. Okay, so always make sure that your knives are sharp. But like I said, it's very easy to find them. Now, we also have this little beauty of a knife. Now, this one is actually quite a cheap little knife. We found it online. It is just a paring knife, really. But this piece here, that's a veggie peeler. That's your bottle opener right there. If I put my hand behind it, you can see there's a bottle opener. And this here is for descaling fish. If you can see, it's got a little bit of a serrated bit. I just thought it was kitchen fun. I know, right? It's kind of cool. It is kind of cool. And if you're just starting out and that's all you can afford, I'd grab a knife that looks like that. It's only a couple of quid at the end of the day. Didn't cost a lot of money. If you can't afford to get your other bits and pieces and that's what you want. It's a good knife to take camping with you. And it's a really good knife if you have to bolt on the run. So if you're in I'd have one of these in a grab bag for if we had to leave in an emergency situation. I'd have one of these in there because it is brilliant. It's brilliant for what it is. It's really good. So yeah, I'm just going to move these out of my way. Right. So we've gone through the knives. So you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on knives or dollars or whatever your currency is. You don't have to do that. Just start small and get one and then go from there. Look after it. Learn to look after it. Learn your knife skills with it and go from there. I need my coffee. Oh my God, my coffee. Yeah. Now, next bit we're going to get to. Okay, things to measure things with. So you can get yourself measuring spoons, measuring cups, measuring jugs and stuff like that. You're probably, honestly, better off getting yourself a decent set of cutlery. And I don't mean the tatty shit with the plastic handles. I mean some decent cutlery that you find in the secondhand shops that's old silverware. If you can get a set of that that's got a teaspoon, dessert spoon, and a tablespoon. The tablespoon is the serving spoon. It's the really big, around about that size. Okay. If you get those, that's the original actual teaspoon, tablespoon, or dessert spoon and tablespoon measures. All right. So have those. If you need to have cup measures, as long as you are only using cup measures and a recipe, use whatever cup you have on hand. It doesn't actually matter as long as you use the same size cup in the whole recipe and you adjust accordingly. So if you're using, for example, my coffee cup, right? So if I was to use this, I would probably double the recipe, okay? Or half it. If I was going to do it, the recipe that was in there, say they wanted a cup is about half of that mug. Okay, so you would have a cup for half, or you could double the recipe. Or, and that's what I'm saying by doubling the recipe, is that you would use, say it says a cup and an egg. All right. So you've got 1 cup. So you use the cup for an egg for that. But because you've got probably twice the size of the normal cup, you would use 2 eggs. Does that make sense? I'm going to explain it better in a different video at a different time. But if you just want cups and things just to measure out, just use what you've got in the house at the time. I don't, of course, mean one of these. That's a pint. It's not a cup. It's about 4 cups. Don't be silly. And don't come back and say I said so, because I didn't. Okay, so, but if you are insistent on getting absolute measurement things, you can pick up cheap ones in like Poundland or Dollar Tree, I think it's called in the US. Pick up a set there, and it usually has the measuring spoons as well as the measuring cups in it. And it may come in a little measuring jug. Okay. You've had your first brew of coffee now? Nice. Yeah, I'm having mine. Mine accidentally got spilt by the delivery guy, so it kind of went through everything. That's coffee on the outside. That's just naughty. But it is what it is. Stuff happens, right? But I still got my coffee, so I'm not that worried. Okay, so you also want something that you can flip things and lift things out of a saucepan or a fry pan. And I would suggest either you get yourself a fish slice. Do you have a great sense of humor? I don't know. Do I? I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Bless you. Thank you. So I would get yourself what is known as a fish slice or a lifter. Some people call it lifter. Some people, like in this country, they call it a spatula. It's kind of looks like this. It's got slices in the middle of it, and you just go in with it and lift things out. You guys know what it is. I mean, come on. Do I have to bring everything out from the kitchen? I don't think so. So yeah, you need to get yourself one of those. I would get a whole metal one. Don't get a plastic one. Get a metal one if you can. That is a better idea to do that. Peelers. Peelers are great. You want a peeler. I have a Y-shaped one. So the blade goes across there and the handle down there. And I do that because it's easier for my hands than the straight ones. So I use one of those. This list here says garlic press, but you don't actually need to have a garlic press. Now, a long time ago, there was a show on TV called Yan Can Cook. Now, that man taught me how to press garlic like you wouldn't believe. He just got his chopper out and smacked it on the garlic, and it just literally shattered into paste. And I've been doing it ever since. Heading into work, I'll watch the rest of this later. No worries, Firefly. Thank you so much for being here. So, yeah, I don't think that it's necessary to have a garlic press. And in fact, I have had them in the past. I just think they're a waste of money. They're another gadget. So, because otherwise you just got to scrape through. They're a pain in the bum to clean. They really, really are a pain in the bum to clean. You got to scrape all the bits out, and it's just like, oh, bothered? No, let's not do that. You just smack it with your knife. And if it doesn't want to smack with your knife, just put your knife down and give it a belt with your hand on top, and it will shatter into a million pieces, and it's fine. Then you just chop it up. It's great. Now, the other thing you want to get is a grater. Now, I would suggest to you getting something like this, which is a box grater. You've got your normal grating side over here. You have your slicerators here. Be very careful with those. You have a citrus grater side on this side. You also, and this side is for nutmeg and ginger. For those who didn't know, that is for nutmeg and ginger. All right. So but predominantly nutmeg, because I would probably use that side for my ginger, because I'm a little bit more of a ginger freak. Now, a lot of people don't like using these for citrus because the citrus gets in between all the little bladey bits, but there is a way around that, and that's to put a piece of grease-proof paper over the top, or baking parchment, whatever you want to call it. Elastic band at the top, elastic band at the bottom. Start grating. When you've got all your, when your fruit's actually grated, you'll find that you just pull the paper off and all your zest is on it. It hasn't gone through the sides of the blade. Just a little tip. Now, these are really, 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 really cheap. You can pick them up anywhere. I would just get whatever one you want. We've had this one for years. You know, and as much as the top comes off, it's not really a bother to us, you know. Okay, so another thing people have said is a mind blown. A mandolin slicer. Now, mandolin slicer is all very well and good, but you know what? A veg peeler works just as well. And just use your veg peeler and keep peeling it, rather than using the mandolin slicer if that's what you want to do. Or just learn to use your knife and slice it really, really thin. You don't have to have a mandolin slicer. They are expensive, actually. I have one that is attached to a spiralizer. It took me quite a lot of years to get it. But, you know, oh my God. Excuse me. Some people. Hi, honey.
Hello.
Hi, I'm live.
All right, I'll go. See you later.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry about that. Oh my God. Okay, so that was Tanny. That was Tanny. He's forgotten it's Friday, you see. He's forgotten it's Friday. That's what it is. So, yeah. But that's all good. No, so, yeah, a mandolin slicer I would only get either if you absolutely feel the absolute need to. But if you're setting up a kitchen straight away, you don't really need to. Just hone your knife skills or use your veg peeler. Get yourself a veg peeler and just use that, and that's going to give you the same result. Food storage. Now, food storage, yes, is very important. But when you're first starting out, use all the plastic containers that come in with the food that you're getting. So if you're getting things like margarine and butter, if you're getting things like ice cream, if you're getting things like takeaways, use all the containers. Damn it, Coffee, what are you doing to me? Use them all. Seriously, use them all. There was a time when Tanya and I first moved in together, we very purposely bought a variety of biscuits and brownies because it came with a reusable plastic container on purpose. So we would buy those on purpose. We bought about 10 packets of them, and we still have the plastic containers to this day, and they are great sized. They are really, really good containers, actually, and the lids are still intact as well. We only actually bought storage containers like those when they were on offer, and if they were the kind that could stack inside themselves, because otherwise it was just a bit of waste of a space for us. Because, you know, if you guys have been watching for any amount of time, you know how small our kitchens is, and the lack of space is quite an issue. So, you know, we try and keep it as well as we can, but we do once a fortnight tend to get takeaway, and we keep all our Chinese takeaway containers or our Asian takeaway containers, whatever. We keep all of those, all of them, and that's what gets used for our food prep during the week. Makes such a difference. It doesn't cost us anything extra either. So, you know, we have quite a collection. There's quite a few that have probably not got lids anymore, or we have more lids than we have containers. So we're going to have to go through them and have a look and see what we can do there. But, you know, it's always worthwhile saving. There was a time we actually discovered that one of the takeaway places that we were ordering from had special lunch boxes that came with the food that was reusable, and it came with a really nice base on it, really good lid, and an insert. So we actually ordered 4 or 5 times from them just to get the lunch boxes. And very specific dishes just to get those lunch boxes, because, you know, we got the meal, but we also got the lunchbox. So we got those as well. We also save pretty much every glass jar, bottle that we get within the house. We also save, because we buy our honey by the bucket, we save these buckets because the lids and buckets can be reused. But we save them all. I mean, for example, this is actually a whiskey bottle, but inside it is some homemade slow vodka that I made 2 years ago. So, you know, it's a beautiful color at this point. We've only just started trying this, and honestly, it tastes like brandy. It's really awesome. But, you know, I digress. The point is, it's a reusable bottle. All we did was buy new corks for them, and the reusable corks, so we can just wash them, sterilize them, and rebottle things. Still listening from the attic. Wonderful ideas, Blue. Have my hands full traveling at the moment, but you're in my pocket along for the ride. Oh, bless you. The other thing we do is I rebottle things like this, which is my cherry ketchup is in this particular bottle, and that's been in there for probably 18 months in an old apple. I think it's apple ties. Yeah, I think it's an apple ties bottle by the look of it. Yeah. So we just reuse whatever bottles we get in the house. You know, I mean, why waste what we've already got? Do you know what I mean? And just reuse everything that we've got. The other thing is as well is that we buy a specific type of coffee because it comes in these jars. So yes, we pay a little bit of money extra for the coffee, but we have a jar that would probably cost us around £6 each to buy. Now, these jars are great. And one of the things that I used to do when I got this coffee in Australia, because it's called Moccona in Australia, here in the UK, it's called Dow Egberts, is I used to take those off. And if I was using them in the bathroom, I'd have one or more of what was in the jar in the lid as a label so that kids could see what it was, because I had a lot of children. Lots of children. So, yeah, these are really, really good, and they seal really, really well. They're great for dry store ingredients. This one at the moment has my mango peel crisps in them. That happens to be sitting on my desk because, you know, munchies. Yeah, so those are some starter ideas. Now, as much as, and the other thing is as well, people are always giving away these jars. Can I just say that the ones that you've seen in my pantry, we have not drunk that much coffee in 5 years or 4 years. We haven't. Okay. A lot of those came from scouring places like Facebook Marketplace, Free Cycle, secondhand shops. They sell these jars, these coffee jars in the secondhand shops for 50p each. So if you don't like coffee, don't want to drink coffee, but you want the jars, you can find them in the charity shops anywhere between 10p and 50p each. So go and ask them. Go and ask them. Always ask at a charity shop or a secondhand shop, because there's some things they don't put out on the floor because they don't think people will want it. Okay, so ask, because they may have stuff out the back that's been dumped on them that, you know, they're not going to put out the front, and they're just going to put, it's going to either go to their warehouses where it will get processed, but it'll probably end up in landfill. Okay, so go and ask. Never hurts to ask. The worst thing that can happen is that they say no. Okay, but there's a 50% chance they're going to say yes. So it's a much better chance to ask and get the answer for yes if you ask the question than if you don't ask. All right. Also, when it comes down to electrical appliances in the kitchen, your mixers, your blenders, your immersion blenders, your dehydrators, your slow cookers, your rice cookers, all of the things, okay? Things that people say to you, oh, you have to have one of these. Double check that, okay? It's all very well having a microwave, but if all you're going to do is heat up your cup of tea and a tin of baked beans every now and again, is it worth it? No. It wasn't worth it to us. We actually gave ours to my son because it was just taking up room on the bench that we didn't need because we didn't use it. So we gave it to him. Where he will use it because he lives out of boxes and plastic boxes of ready meals. So, he's going to use it. If you want to have a slow cooker, shop around. We have a slow cooker, but it's also a rice cooker, a roaster, and a deep fryer. So it's actually a 5-in-1. It does all of the things, and it's easy to clean. So instead of having to go and buy a rice cooker and a slow cooker and a blah 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 and a blah 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 blah, you get it all in one machine, and it actually costs the same as a slow cooker. We bought ours from Wilco's, but you can find them anywhere, and it's been a godsend. Not gonna lie, it's been a godsend. So if you are going to buy an electric appliance, make sure that it's got more than one use. Gotta go catch some sleep before my appointment this morning. No worries, darling. Catch you later. Have a great stream. No worries, JT. Thanks for being here, darling. Do appreciate it. I really do. So yeah, if you are going to have electrical appliances, number one, make sure you're going to use it and it's worthwhile your space. And make sure it does more than one thing. If it doesn't do more than one thing, what's the point? Oh, good grief. Pardon me. So, yeah. Hey, Slava, how are you doing, sweetheart? It's good to see you. So, yeah, I've got, like I said, my slow cooker is a rice cooker. It's a deep fryer. It's a roaster, and it's all of the things. So I don't have to have all of the things because I've got it in one machine. It's cheaper to run than my oven. It is actually cheaper to run than the oven. So we do use it quite a lot for a lot of things. So it does get a lot of use. When you're going to get yourself, if you are going to ever look at getting a food processor or a blender or anything like that, shop around, get the best deal for your money. I wouldn't suggest getting the ones that have got the slide-in blades. For food processors, for your different blades, I would get the one that has the full circular metal blade on it. They are a little bit more expensive. Just save your pennies. It's not necessary to get the other ones. The other ones are liable to break and cause more accidents. I've seen a few accidents in my time caused by them, and I wouldn't want to see you guys get hurt by it or anyone here get hurt by it. So, yeah, a ton of appliances, but no room in the kitchen, so I have to keep them in my attic and get them when I need. Yeah. One thing that I will say with appliances, try not to get a combi blender processor, because if one of them breaks, then the whole thing's pretty much useless. I bought our toaster oven, is also a dehydrator, and we use it like an oven. Hey, where to begin, Homestead? Welcome in. Woohoo! It's good to see you. That's really cool. The idea that your toaster oven's also a dehydrator. See, yeah, my dehydrator, I can do yogurt in. I can make yogurt and I can use it like that and do, I can hang meats in it and stuff as well to make biltong and things. So that to me is a good investment. So yeah, nice, very nice. My blender is actually one that we got as a fill-in for when my blender and food processor decided to die and I couldn't get spare parts for it. We bought the combo thinking that'll be fine for now. And after using the grinder attachment to it, the plastic is destroyed. It's literally destroyed. You can't see through it anymore. So, you know, you need to look at these things. If you're going to use your blender and grinder part of your blender, if you've got a grinder that goes on it, try and make sure that you get the glass ones rather than the plastic, because the plastic does look a bit mank after a while and it does crack rather easily. Save up a bit and get the glass ones because they're better. Same with your food processors as well. Food processors, not so much, but try and make sure that you get a variety or make that you can get spare parts for. You know, it's because if you can't get spare parts for it, it's a bit useless. You know, you usually find that the big brands like Kenwood, you can get parts for them for about 20, 30, 40 years afterwards. I know this because I could still get bowls from my parents' one 30 years later. So that was kind of cool. So Kenwood are pretty good with their makes. They do supply spare parts for many, 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 many years. And that's what you want. Your favorite appliance so far is your sous vide machine. Oh, that's a bit fancy. I don't own a blender now. I use my old one grinding chicken feed. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. One thing I will say is that some people seem to want to have like spaghetti rollers and stuff like that. You don't need a pasta machine. Just get a rolling pin and a knife, and you pretty much got exactly what you would get from pasta roller. Only it'll take you a little bit longer. KitchenAid brand is very decent quality for kitchen appliances. It's really, really good. Unfortunately, everywhere except in the US, they are hugely expensive. Hugely expensive. Now, KitchenAid are great, and when I grow up and are rich and famous, I will probably get one. KitchenAid. Here we go. Oh no. Oh yeah. No. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So I will share this screen. That one. All right. Okay. So here we go. This one's at reduced price. This one here. Now, KitchenAid are great. Really, really good. They are top of the line. They are the best of the best. Okay. And you will pay for the best of the best. This part here, for those who don't know, this little bit in the front, the little front nozzle part is to put utensils on. That has different machines. Now you can have pasta rollers. There's all sorts of cheese graters. There's all sorts of different things to put on the front, and that's great. But it also adds to the expense. £408 reduced is great, but that's more money than most people earn over here in a month. Okay, so the average person, and if they're on benefits, that's more money than they get to live on in a month. Okay, so that's where we need to kind of look at this and go, okay, that's not really in the realms of a lot of possibility. KitchenAid's expensive here too. I bought mine from an auction house for less than $100. It's a commercial mixer. Nice. Yeah, see, you can get other commercial mixers and stuff like that. That's a lot cheaper as well. But that's all those. Where's it gone? Let's have a look at, always look at the clearance items as well when you're looking at different companies. Now, I am not in any way, shape or form sponsored or affiliated with Nisbets. I just happen to use them quite a lot for things because it's worth it. It's really, really worth it because they are professional grade equipment. They're going to have stuff that's going to last a long time. Okay, so you look at tableware, etc. All right. I mean, you're not going to want to have a pack of 48 cutlery sets. But even if you had a pack of 48, it's only £20.40. £20.90, sorry. So it's 44p per unit. And it's actually a really nice little... You will probably find that that's stuff that you've used in any kind of place that you've gone out in. So if you've got 48 in a pack, just give me a sec. Yeah, you've got 12 place settings for 20 quid. Seems a lot, but it's quite a lot. You get quite a lot of bang for your buck for that, and it's really good quality stuff. Mine is brand name KitchenAid. If you buy one, make sure it's commercial grade. They have metal gears instead of plastic. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. I absolutely agree with that. So, yeah. I mean, you don't... This is just a place that I would go and get stuff from. You don't need to. If you've got friends that are moving out as well, try and half up with them and then go to these places and get stuff and then put the money in between you. Say, okay, well, one of us has got 50 quid, the other one's got 50 quid. We can go and we can get this. We could probably get the plates. We could probably get some glasses, and then you're going to have a nice little collection of bits and pieces between you, which is going to last you a bit longer. You're not going to cry if it bounces across the floor, and screen share. Yeah, so I mean that's one option. There are other options out there, like I said, but we were just discussing KitchenAid. So yeah, KitchenAid is probably out of the question if you're just starting out, to be honest. What I will have a look for, sorry, just move those over there. Okay. Oh gosh, there we go. Right. Shop. Hang on. Screen that one. Okay, so this is one of those sort of like catalog shops that they've got over here. And we need to have a look for appliances. So we're going to look at appliances. We're going to look at shop all mixing. Okay. So you've got options like these, which are really, really cheap, like £12.50, and you've got yourself a decent little hand mixer. And that's all you really want to start off with. You can pick... No, you're not having my postcode. Go away. You can pick up really cheap mixing bowls. You want to have yourself a mixing bowl. That's one of the things. If you can get yourself a metal mixing bowl rather than a plastic one, then you can use it as a on top of your saucepan as a bain-marie, or a double boiler, so that you can do things like chocolate and custards and things like that. Makes it a little bit easier, and you don't have to actually buy a double boiler. Have a restaurant depot close to you. That's where I get most of my stuff. Nice. See? Yeah, perfect. See, the Nisbets are pretty close to where we live. They're down in town, which is quite nice, but I still order from them online because, it means otherwise I have to go in amongst tourists, and I don't really want to do that. Okay, sorry, guys. I've got a bit of a stuffy nose this morning. Ooh. Squeeze me. So you're picking yourself up a little hand mixer is probably going to do you a lot better than picking up a stand mixer. There's nothing you can't do that one of these can't do, because one of these will come with your little dough hooks. Normally they will come with dough hooks. Does this one? Yep. See, this one comes with dough hooks as well. So I think that's it. Oh no, that's a different one. That one comes with dough hooks. This one doesn't. But to be honest, when you're first starting out, you know, have a go at kneading things by yourself. You don't need the dough hooks. You know, keep it simple. And this is what I mean about the circular, pure circular blades like that. That's what you want. Now, they've got a different size on each side, so you can flip them over. They actually count as 2 blades per blade because you can actually flip them. And that is probably your best option, is getting those. I just want to see if they're going to show. See, these are just stand mixers here. Oh, that's another one that's got, what is this? 6-in-1 stand mixer. But yeah, see, it's £229. So it's a little bit out of the reach of most people. But yeah, it's actually nice to see that a lot of them have got, this time 2 years ago, a lot of the food processors had the plastic circular blade holder and little square blades that you put into it, and they shatter so badly. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. So yeah, I mean, there's cheaper options, obviously, and you have to go with what your budget will allow. To be honest, at the beginning, when you're first setting out a kitchen, you don't need it. It's not necessary. So we're going to have a look in home and furniture. We're going to look at the kitchen. Probably kitchenware and accessories at this point. Now, I'm aware that this store actually used to have a basics package for people who were just setting out. Now, they don't seem to have it here at the moment. I don't know. It doesn't seem to. But yeah, see, things like this. This is a short grip. These plastic ones are what I was talking about before. Don't bother. Don't waste your money, okay? Be aware that that's 12 quid there. They will last you for maybe 6 months, and then the handle fall off. It'll snap. Okay, these plastic here can't be put in anything that's got any heat in it because it will actually melt. They're useless. Don't bother. Save your 12 quid and go and get yourself a set of those with the metal, so that you've got your serving spoon, your slotted spoon, you've got a masher, you've got a ladle for soups and stocks and things, and then you've got your flipper. You know, so that's the kind of thing that you're going to want to look for, is the metal ones. Yeah, the plastic ones are so useless. And the thing is, you can't recycle them. They're not made out of recyclable plastics. So, you know, it's better to get those. And since they're the same price as the other ones, you're not losing anything. Okay. You want to get yourself a colander. Now, you can pick these up a lot cheaper than this. Okay, here they've got them for £7.50. You can actually pick them up a lot cheaper. Silicone spatulas, yes. I love silicone spatulas. I does have one. And I has my special one in the kitchen, which I call my magic wand, which has got a picture of a unicorn on it. I love these. They do everything. Like I said, silicone spatulas are the bomb. You can use them in your pots. You can use them in your pans. You can use them in cold things. You can use them in hot things. There is nothing that you can't use these for, pretty much. So, yeah, I mean, having a colander is a really good idea. But if you've got yourself some pots that have a lid, all you have to do is hold the lid with a tea towel and then have enough room for the water to come out, and then just pour the water out. And so you don't really need to use a colander if you don't need to. So you can learn to do it that way. That's the only way that we ever used to do it when I was a kid. So we didn't have fancy colanders and things like that. Even though my mum was fancy. Buy antiques and use them in the kitchen. They make stuff back then to last. Yes. Hi, Willow Way Ranch. How are you? Good to see you. Okay, so you want to have yourself as well, when you're first starting out, you want to have yourself a decent board. Okay, you want to have a kitchen board, a decent one. Now, whether you can get a wooden one or you get yourself a plastic one or catering one or whatever, that's entirely up to you. But there are some that I would say to you, don't bother. Board. Chopping boards. Right. Now, let's go back to sharing my screen again. This is going a lot longer than it was supposed to, but okay. Right. These ones, I wouldn't really bother. They don't last as long as you think they're going to. They're great because they've got, like, they're for the blue ones for fish and the white ones for bakery and the red ones for meat and the green one for groceries and things like greengrocers and stuff. But these very, very thin ones are really pointless. They really are. They've been bought. They've been invented for people who just want to chop and pull up their board and then pop it in a thing. But honestly, you'll cut through that in the first couple of uses. They're really not worth it. They're a waste of money. And they charge you £12.50 for that. Whereas you could save yourself a little bit of money by getting yourself, like, if you saved that and put a little bit more money into it, you could get yourself a 3 set of those, of the nice wooden ones. And the wooden ones last you forever if you look after them properly. You just need to learn to clean them properly and clean them down. And every now and again, they just need a little bit of an oiling and they're fine. When I moved to the States 10 years ago, I couldn't afford quality kitchen stuff, so I was buying the cheapest, but now I would rather save and get a good one. Yeah, and that's the point. You want to start off with the best of what you can afford. Okay, that's always been my motto. You buy the best of what you can afford. If you can't afford, the £19 for three wooden boards, find something you can afford and buy that instead. So we've got this one here, which is a bamboo one for £12, which is 50p cheaper than the ones that we're going to break on you. Okay, so this works like it would do a wooden board, but it's 50p cheaper than you're going to pay on the other ones. So that's the kind of thing that you want to be looking at. All right, you don't want to be spending £12.50 on a set of boards or chopping boards if they're not going to last you, because you're just going to end up having to put the money out there in another place again. So shop around, look what you can find within your budget of what you're using. If you can't afford to go straight to the shops, don't. There are grants out there. There are budgeting grants out there for people. There are setup grants for people. Depending on where you're looking, you need to go to different charities and see what you are entitled to get. Here in the UK, I would go to the Citizens Advice Bureau. They will have any information that is necessary for the charities in your area that may be able to help you out with a moving in budget. Okay, that is what I will suggest to you straight off. When my son moved into his place, because he was in a halfway house, they had a system where he was given a £1,000 grant to get all the things he needed. That included a brand new oven, washer, dryer. So that's pretty much all his £1,000 gone right there. And then he got to go to a secondhand furniture place where he could order his bed, his couches, his bits and pieces that he needed. So he didn't really have to pay a lot of money for anything at the end of the day, but that was his choice. And that's what he did. So, there are things out there. There are help out there if you need it, but you need to ask for it. And there is no shame in asking for it, because these places are set up for people who need the help. And setting up home somewhere after whatever reasons, it's important, okay? And there's no shame in it, and you need to be able to do it, okay? So please don't be scared to ask, because there are opportunities out there to help you as well. Now, if you are going to be moving into a new place and you need to set up from scratch, another thing I will say to you is crockery. Crockery is important. All right, so that's your plates, your bowls, things like that. Get something you like. It's all very well getting cheap stuff, but if you don't like it, it's a waste of money, isn't it? So get something you actually like. You know how much you're willing to spend. Look and see what you can find for that. If you don't go to the places that are brand new stuff, go and look for secondhand. See what you can find in there. Even if you just find one plate and one bowl that you like, it's better than buying a set of something that you're going to hate for years, because you're going to be lumbered with it. So buy something that you can afford, that you enjoy, and that you like. Please. Just what you like. So yeah, that's kind of my go-to now for what you need to get to set up a kitchen. The other things that I would say would be cloths and tea towels. You don't need to get a load of scrubbers and things like that, because they're just a waste of money, and a lot of them can't be used on certain items. So you don't need to worry about getting a whole heap of stuff. If you have got, if you don't like it, you're not going to use it, are you? Or you're just going to hate it every time you have to, because that's all you've got, and you just say, oh no, not this crap again. So you just don't use it. So what's the point? So what I'll say is, far out. Yeah, okay, I gotta be good. Let's not be moving like that again. I've just gone out. My head's gone. Give me a second, guys. Yeah. Reusable cloths that you can wash. Reusable tea towels. You don't need oven gloves or oven mitts. Get a decent tea towel. Don't buy cheap tea towels. Get really good ones. If you're buying cheap oven mitts and things like that, you're liable to end up with more burns than you would do if you used a tea towel in place of it. A lot of the oven mitts and things that you see around are not made anymore to be used. They are used as decoration at different times of the year, so people can feel better about their kitchens. Okay, so please, 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 please don't use them to pull things out of the oven unless you know 150% that they are used or made for use with heat-resistant wadding. If it's not made with heat-resistant wadding, it is only for decoration, and you could end up with third-degree burns and everything all over the place. So just use some really decent tea towels, okay? Invest in them. Invest in them. They are an investment, and the best ones you can get are from catering places, again, like the equipment place that I showed you. That's one of the... I have got an unboxing video of a whole heap of cloths and things that I purchased, because I decided that we were not going to buy the cheap ratty ones anymore. We were going to get some decent ones that were going to last us probably the rest of our lives, to be honest. Okay, but I do have a video for that. All right, so this is only really about the things that you need in your kitchen to set up when you first start out. This is not about setting up your pantry and stuff like that, okay? We can look at that next week, setting up pantry and the food supplies and stuff like that, and what you want to start off with, but keeping to a budget. Again, keeping to a budget, because keeping to a budget is really, really important. And that's what we all need to be doing. So, yeah. So I think we've pretty much covered everything here so far on the best things to set up in your kitchen. The only thing that otherwise that I will say is if you are buying big appliances like fridge, washing machine, dryer, oven, the only reason that I say washing machine and dryer is because in this country they are classed in your kitchen, because most people have them in the kitchen. They don't have them. There is no laundry or utilities room. Okay. So they're actually kept in the kitchen. The only thing I will say with those is shop around, look. People are getting rid of theirs all the time. If you are going to go and buy someone's second-hand item, get them to switch it on. If they're worried about the fact that they are on key meter electric, offer them £3 to pay for a full cycle of their washing machine on the longest cycle. Okay? And stay there for it. Buy them coffee. Make friends. But make sure it works. Okay? The most things that people get rid of them for are either the brushes need replacing on a washing machine, or if it's a dryer, it'll be the belt and the wheels. Now, the belt and the wheels will probably cost you £30, but if someone's getting rid of an old dryer because it's clunking a bit, they'll probably get rid of it for £30-40. It's still going to cost you only a third of the money that a brand new one would. So you're probably better off looking at things like that. Okay? All right. The other thing is as well that fridges, big appliances like fridges, people get rid of them thinking that they're getting an ice buildup at the back because they haven't cleaned it properly and they don't know how to. Okay? I will be doing a video very, very shortly on how to clean your fridge. But right at the back of most fridges, there is a little hole. Now, in that little hole is a little plug or a little doodad. Now, if you pull that out and you find that there is still buildup, because that's where all the condensation and water goes through. If there's still buildup, that means there's a blockage there, and that blockage can cause the ice buildup because it'll stop the thermostat from working properly. Okay, so all it needs is a clean, and you've got yourself a really decent fridge for next to nothing and a little bit of work. Okay, so yeah, it's worthwhile having a look at looking at secondhand appliances. Most of our appliances are secondhand. We only just bought brand new washing machine for the first time in both Tanny and my life when he started working, because he decided that that was enough and we were going to get a brand new one, and he wanted to, and that was fine, you know, so we did. So yeah, but that's pretty much all. Buy secondhand, recycle where you can, buy the best that you can afford. Don't buy all the things that everybody tells you have to have. Only buy the things that you know you're going to use. Buy the things that you like, not the things that necessarily, you know, you have to put up with. Look, if you are the kind of person that really wants a certain type of crockery or something, get some paper plates until you get it. Seriously, I'm not kidding. You know, if you really, really, really have your heart set on one particular type of crockery, use paper plates till you can afford to get it. You know, you can use them as kindling for your fire pit. It's not that hard an idea, okay? So, yeah, use what you're going to like. Check what you're going to use first. Make sure you get the best of what you can afford. And if you can only afford one of something rather than a whole set, only buy one at once. And go to shop around. Buy secondhand where you can. But if you want to get really good things, then go to catering places where you're going to get professional grade equipment for the price of household equipment. And that's what you want to be getting. Okay. And don't worry about electrical appliances, not the small appliances, unless you can do more than one thing with it and you're going to use it on a regular basis. Don't bother. It's not worth it. So yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. This has run on long enough and I've been rambling long enough. I will see you guys again later on. I am doing a live on Monday. That's my May live, and that will be at 3 p.m. BST, which is, for those of you who aren't sure what that is, that's about 45 minutes from now, but on Monday. Okay. So, yeah. And that's just a general catch up and fun and games. Next week, we're going to be looking at shopping to build your pantry, how to build your pantry on a budget. Okay, that's what we're going to be looking at, is how to build your pantry on a budget. All right. And that will be episode 9 next week. I can't believe we got to episode 9. Oh my goodness. Okay. And I will see you guys again next week. Have a really, really awesome rest of your day, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you got something out of this. And if you haven't and you know someone that might help, please do feel free to pass it on, share it, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I will see you later on. Love you guys heaps. Blessings.